Hello everyone, today's training video is going to be on how to pull data for an enrollment verification. While enrollment verifications I know are everyone's favorite topic, it is important to know as a local program how you can pull the data from LACES the same way that the state office pulls data, so you can be sure that you're getting an accurate test run when you want to verify your own data internally. So when you want to pull data for an enrollment verification, you basically need to pull two sets of data. Almost all of the data can come from one data pool, and then you have to pull the student birth date from a separate data pool. So we'll start by doing the first bulk of the data. This does not happen in the student tab, it actually happens under the all fiscal year tab. So in the upper right hand corner you will click on more, and then all FY data. The data that we need will be underneath this screen. We just need to do some searching, and we also need to change the view. So first of all, as default, it will always have the current fiscal year chosen. So please click the X right beside current fiscal year to get rid of that search. The next thing we're going to do is change the reporting system. The reporting system is basically what fiscal year we're using. If we're going to do an enrollment verification for fiscal year 18, I would type NRS space FY space 17-18 and hit enter. This will give me all the student data just for fiscal year 18. The next thing we have to do is to make sure that we're only pulling reportable students. You would click on Add Search, go down to NRS Reportable. You have equals already set, and you're going to type a Y for yes and choose apply. Now we have all of the students for fiscal year 18 that are reportable. The next part of this is to create a custom view. Now, because I do this quite often, I already have an enrollment verification view set up. However, today we're going to assume that you do not. So click the arrow for the drop-down list for the view, and we're going to go to Open View Manager because we're going to create a new view. In the View Manager, we're going to click on Copy, and we're going to name it something that's recognizable. This can be whatever you want it to be, but if you set it up once and you remember it, then it's something you can access again in the future. Now, in this view, on the left side are all of the available fields that I can choose from to display. On the right side are all of the fields that will display. In this view that we have right now, we have last name, first name, middle name, reporting system, and creation date. We need those first four, but we don't actually need the creation date for an enrollment verification, so we want to take that one out. So I'm going to click on creation date and choose remove. Now, in addition to those four that we have selected already, we need to add some more information. So we'll click on SSN for Social Security number and click Add to bring that over. We also need the hours of instruction, and we need the pretest data, which would be pretest date, pretest form, and pretest scaled score. We also need the post-test information, which would be post-test date, post-test form, and post-test scaled score. Now that's all the information you need, with one exception. If you're a correctional institution and you want to pull that information for a correctional institution, you also need to pull the student keyword. The student keyword corresponds to a particular correctional institution. Once again, this is only for correctional ed. This is not for other grantees that have correctional facilities under institutionalized funding, only for correctional education. Once you have everything that you need, you're going to click on Save. You'll get a menu that says the view was saved. And you'll see in the upper left hand corner that your view is now that new view that you created. And in the future you can just click on that to create this view on the fly. Now from this point, we're going to actually be choosing the students that we want to use for our enrollment verification. While you can choose any student, of course, from this list, you should place priority on students that have data in the system. First of all, you want to make sure that you choose students that have both a pre and post test. In other words, there should be a post-test date, form, and score. In addition, you also want to make sure that the student has at least 40 hours of instruction, which would allow for the post-test. So those are the two things you should look for when choosing students. When you choose students, all you have to do is click the check mark to the far left of that student name. An official enrollment verification would include 10 students, but when you're doing this for your own purposes, you can choose as many students as you feel is necessary and that you have time to look up the data for at that moment. For these purposes, I'm just going to choose 5 students. If you do have a number of students, you'll see at the very bottom there's additional numbers and arrows. That indicates that there's more than one list of names. Once you have the students that you want to pool, in the upper right hand corner choose Selection and then Subset. This pulls just those students whose names you checked. You're almost finished. You can either do a print screen of this and print this out to use, or you can export this to Excel by clicking on Export and CSV. So you click on Export, CSV, and then you load the Excel file. Once you have it loaded up in Excel, then you can do any formatting you want to it. I always recommend that you do formatting as a table with headers. And then you can make it more readable by changing the column width and so on. Now that we've pulled most of our data, it's time to get at the last piece of the data, which is the birth date. It's the one thing that you can't pull from the all FY year data. So if you're still under the LFY data section, you do need to go back to the student tab. So click on student. And then we need to create one more custom view. So click under the views. We can choose Open View Manager. And we can either copy or do a new view. Here I'm going to do a new one. Call it something that you can recognize, such as birthday. Now you're going to need a few fields here. You need the last name field, first name, middle name, social security number, and birth date. Once you have all 5 of those fields, choose Save, and now you've created that custom field. The next time you come to pull this data, you can just choose that view from the View menu. Now that we have our view set up, we want to make sure that we remove the current fiscal year search if that happens to be on. Remember to do that, you just need to click the X at the end of current fiscal year. Now in this list we have all of our students, so you can search either alphabetically or you can do a search by typing in the name. Search alphabetically, just click on the column you want to sort by. For example, if we click on last name, we see an arrow show up indicating that it's sorted ascendingly by last name, and we can scroll through. In addition, you could just type in the name that you're looking for and hit enter, and it will search for that name in the list. Anytime you want to remove one of those searches that you've done, all you have to do is just click the X where that search is. Go through the list and find the same students that you found before. And then in the upper right hand corner, choose Selection and click Subset. Here you have your list of students along with their birth date. You can either screenshot this and print it out, or you can click on Export and open it in Excel as you did before. And now you have all the data that you need to do your own enrollment verification. And thank you for watching this video. If you have any additional questions on this video, or if you have ideas for other training that you need, please feel free to call me or email me. Have a great day. Thank you.